Hi, this is Kees and I help people from doing to being. And today I would love to talk to you about the power of surrender. The power of surrender to me is a very, very big, but also very beautiful topic because it's one of the deepest things we can do, but also deepest realizations that we can have in life. And that's the realization of that, first of all, we can surrender and be safe. That we can surrender and have a good life. That life is actually happening for us, not to us. That life is a powerful driver which is moving us in a beautiful way, in a way which is helping us, in a way which is empowering us, a way which is loving to us and deeply connecting and loving and beautiful. And we've been raised in a way and conditioned that life is out to get us, that if we don't do certain things, if we don't work hard, if we don't stress ourselves out, if we don't get a partner and get kids and then get a house or get enough pension, that we'll have problems, that we'll have deeply problems. Well, all these things, there are other options, of course. And it's just not bad things to do because, you know, there's nothing wrong, inherently wrong with, of course, a pension or wrong with a partner or any of these things. But it's from the way that we've been raised that we need to get this. Yeah, we need to get this, make sure we have enough money, make sure we have enough food, make sure we have children, make sure we marry, etc. And make sure that we not make sort of strange choices in life. That we do not let go, that we do not let go and let flow of life. Some camera issues, sorry. That we just in some way are not allowed to chill this life. They are not allowed to rest and relax and be one and chill with what is. That we're not allowed to just be. That we always need to do. This is what I say in the intro, right? That I help people from doing to being. That's because so many people are just stuck in doing. They're stuck in, I need to do this, I need to do that. I can't just be or chill or relax or do whatever I like today. And that's a terrible, terrible problem for you to have. That you can't be in the moment. You can't be here, you can't be relaxed. No, we need to go and, yeah. That whole idea of sort of needing to strive, needing to change ourselves can fall away in a second. And that's the second when we realize that life is actually, we're already part of life and we're already okay. And that there's nothing wrong with us. And this is a very deep realization you could have when you have a spiritual awakening, a realization, some insights, or when you understand non-duality, or maybe when somebody tells you about non-duality, that life is in a certain way, right? Life is one. Life is non-dual. There are not two sides of life. There's not me in the world, but there's just this one. And when we realize this and understand this, maybe at a deeper level, what can start to happen is that we let go of controlling, wanting to control life. We start surrendering. And what we actually surrender is the ego itself, is the idea that anything needs to be changed, the idea we need to become something, the idea that we need to strive for something, the idea that it will be better when we reach a certain goal, that life will be better for the ego, right? Or for this sense of identity when we've reached a certain goal. When we have a certain amount of money, when we have a pension built, when we have a partner, when we have children, then we'll be happy. And this is just not true. The outer circumstances of life do not fulfill us. We fulfill us. We fulfill us by just letting go, by relaxing into life. By not being individual life anymore, but going with life itself. And how we do that is by actually surrendering. And this can come through a lot of different in lots of different ways. We can realize that surrender is actually the thing that we need to do. And some teachers actually directly tell you about surrender. I like to tell people directly about surrender, because on the one hand you can have the knowledge of, okay, everything is one, etc. But if you then don't surrender, you go back to your ego ways of I need to do this and this and that and that, and otherwise I'm not fulfilled, I'm not happy, and I'm a problem. And the reality is just life is not a problem to be solved. Life is here. And actually it's like if we find from an ego perspective, in our individuality, there will always be things that we might, not totally like. If we're thinking in likes and dislikes, there are things that are just not pleasant, let's say. Life will bring up some things that are not pleasant. And this is an opportunity for you to look at, why are you attached to that? Why is that even a problem for you? Right? But because of that, we feel that we need to be we need to be safe away from life, away from difficult situations. And we can't be protected from death. We can't be protected from becoming old. We can't be protected from certain illnesses. We don't know when they'll come, if they'll come. We don't know. We don't know. If we have enough money, it might not be enough. It's in that sense, it's terrible. And being an ego is terrible because it's never enough, and you never really truly know that you made it, or it's enough, or it's good. And if you do, and you kind of have that realization, you'll think, what next? A lot of older folks in generations before me, let's say the baby boomers, they then have a midlife crisis. They think, okay, what should I do then with my life? And maybe repeat, some of the younger years when I was happy. Getting a younger partner, or, a fast car or something like that, which is still not the fulfillment they're looking for. Because it's not about that. That's just trying to, again, solve something which is by itself whole and trying to fix it. And the challenges in life that are there, that they automatically solve when we realize that it's not a problem. When we realize our problems are not in fact problems, but we've been making problems out of them, then they're okay. So surrendering, or the power of surrender, is immense. And the power of surrendering is in understanding that even though there's individuality, we are one with everything and connected with everything. And that being the case, if we let go of control of our day-to-day habits, or day-to-day actions, or anything we do or think, first of all, we realize we don't have so much control to give up. We didn't have control over our environment. We didn't have absolute control of our body. We didn't have absolute control of anything, of our family members or things like that. So the thing we give up is only the idea of control and maybe some rules we have for ourselves. And this steering, which happens somewhere in the mind, where we think, oh, we need to do this. Oh, is it not better to do this now? And that's strategic. And while you think strategically like that, you never really know what's best. So let's say if I prepare a meeting, that's an example I like to give. Let's say I prepare a meeting and then the next day I actually have that meeting, then I'll say different things than I've planned. Of course, some of the things will be the same, but most of the things will be different. And that's because we can't prepare like that. There's not really a sort of absolute way of preparing ourselves for life. Life happens, and always, if I think about something that will happen in the future, maybe that will be very scary for me right now. Right? So I won't do it. And let's take the example of these videos. For a long time, I've been wanting to be a speaker and speak in relation to these topics. And the more I honestly understood that this is what a lot of me, or big part of me, wanted, or what was my role in life. But I was not allowing myself to do it because I didn't know how to become, let's say I wanted to then become a sort of big speaker and sort of fill up the rij or anything like that. And because of that, I didn't do it because I was just too scared. How am I going to make it this big or do these things? And it was not fun anymore. So then if I didn't know the strategy, but if I would come up with a strategy, it's not fun anymore. If I would come up with a strategy, you need to post YouTube videos and you need to make it, and it's not fun anymore. I cannot be inspired. I cannot be relaxed and chill in front of the camera and just talk to you guys about anything. If I was this forced, then I couldn't do that. Same as, let's say, you like sex with your partner, but if you say you need to have sex every day between, let's say, 5 in the afternoon and 6 in the afternoon, and you have to be in certain positions and have to say different things or whatever, then it's not fun anymore. You know, if every day it's not fun, you know, so and our best work comes from inspiration, comes from doing the things which work for us. But and maybe the rhythms can be the same that you do daily. I'm not saying doing daily things is bad, but just these rules, they ruin all the fun. And they also prohibit us from getting going, from just doing the steps or the things we need to allow any, let's say, our life purpose to unfold, if you say it from a more individual perspective. Even though there is not, the biggest purpose is life itself, of course. Life is the purpose, you're here, and that's the big purpose. But yeah, so what happens if you look at the personality? You have a part that's conditioned and has all these ideas, these steering ideas, you could say these are your limitations. And then you have a part which is authentic, which is your character, your source, your personality, where your intuition derives, etc. And this is totally fine. And that part of individually is totally fine. That's individual expression. I made another video about that. I'll link that below. Yeah, that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But in order for us to go with the inspired part, we need to let go of our limitations, but also not act on our limitations. And not acting on our limitations can come from surrendering and being one with that which we don't know. Because if we surrender, we know in the moment what to do, but we can't, like in the mind, plan ahead. Maybe we get some insight or some intuition about what's ahead. I tend to get those, but not everybody gets those who that surrender, or that is yeah, working in this way. But a lot of people are just in the moment, and when you're in the moment and you're surrendering to the moment, you'll give the moment what it needs, and that's all you need to know. You don't, because everything else is just imagination. One of my teachers, he has this beautiful quote. I think it's from the Bhagavad Gita, and it's a very old book, and it says the yogi that sees the truth just stops imagining things, and everything arises of itself. And the mind is kind of a sort of imagining machine. It just wants to project, strategize, and not surrender, and sees life as a sort of hostile thing to plan or to, you know, make sure that we don't die, you know. Well, death is inevitable, and a lot of other things. If you have certain inclination, if something matches your energy, it will be there. You know, if you're not motivated, you can watch 10,000 motivational videos. You'll still not be motivated about that job you don't like. So it doesn't help, and I've been there. So just to me, when I came to surrender, or the power of surrender, is in also understanding what doesn't work. And I've been trying to control from an ego perspective my life for a very long time, and it doesn't work. And for the last 5 years, I've been doing a lot of surrendering, and also have been imperfect in that. Sometimes falling off the wagon, and yeah, not letting go, not surrendering, not being at peace, but trying to plan things. Hasn't worked because it'll always turn out in a different way. And there's nothing wrong with anything that would be in the planning except the strictness of it. Because nothing wrong with your actions or your ideas about certain things, but it's only wrong if you sort of set it in stone. Well, life is a flow. Life is the ocean. Life, you know, it continues on and on and on. And if you just say this box, okay, I'm going to put this person in a box, and he needs to do this daily, that daily, yoga, meditation. Oh, he needs to write his goals down. He needs to, you know, shower at 7, and needs to get up at 6, and it needs to blah, 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 blah. You know, this whole story of you tell yourself what to do or need to work this efficient, productive. Oh, I get tired when I even hear this. So, try surrendering, try letting go of your personal rules, and see how you feel, and see what happens also. Because I noticed in my own life that I get more productive, more happy, more relaxed. Just life is a lot better like that. So to me, that's the power of surrender. And I think almost every, you know, spiritual teacher or yogi or whatever talks about this, because it's just super, super important stuff, you know. To me, what I bring to the table as me understanding you these videos, or giving these videos to you, or sharing my insights, is part of it is my intuition and my insights, but it's usually just me connecting the dots between lots of theories that have been here, you know, for thousands of years, that are in all the old texts. I've read, you know, Zen, Buddhist, Hindu texts that are, you know, ancient, much older than my grandmas, who are not here anymore. So, you know, they're over 6, you know, I've read some really nice pieces that are, I think, over 12,000 years old. I don't know about the authenticity then. I'm not a historical, I'm not a history major or anything like that, so I wouldn't know. But the ideas presented in this video are not new, they're ancient. But I've experienced them and seen them as really powerful, and that's why I love sharing. I love sharing my insights, and then whatever you guys do with that, I don't know, up to you. It's your life, and have fun. But if you just realize that it's not only your life, but it's life in general, then I'm already super happy. So thank you for watching, and I'm still evolving, so let's evolve together. Bye.